Hello, Floss family. Again, I am pleased to be once again joined by Dr. Marc Brackett, who is the founder of the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence and professor in the Child Studies Center of Yale University. He's the lead developer of the Ruler approach to social and emotional learning. Thanks for joining us, Marc.
Thank you. Great to be here again.
And now, Dr. Brackett, as we both know, it's been such a tough year, and we did connect for a chat at the beginning of the pandemic. But to get a little bit of an update, how are you really doing right now?
Me personally, I don't talk about my feelings anymore. I just write about everybody else's feelings. Um, I'm doing, today's a good day. I'm feeling actually for the last couple of weeks a bit more hopeful and optimistic about, helping people and our country, especially being in a better place. So, you know, things are on the up for me.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. Definitely glad that you're finishing the year off on a positive note. But for that,
Totally.
how have you, personally coped and adapted to life over the past 9 months, and what tips would you have for others?
You know, because there's so much uncertainty in our world right now, I have found that channeling my energy, at least into my professional work, has been really helpful. Meaning, just like, all right, Mark, like let's take all this research that you've done with educators and how they're feeling and the struggles and the challenges they're facing and find ways to be supportive, helpful. And so I really just kind of channeled my stress and anxiety into being productive.
Yeah, and so that's a great transition. You kind of hinted at it a little bit, but you have some pretty big news, and you have this new online course, managing emotions in times of uncertainty and stress, and is now available for free. So what can people expect from this course?
Yeah, so we started the course here in Connecticut to try it out. And in the first couple of weeks, we got about 25,000 educators across the state to join the course, which was pretty amazing. And, we got interest from people across the United States. And we decided, you know what, let's just get this, let's get this baby, out there. And so we found very creative ways to make it available for free to every educator literally across the globe. So I mean, it's in English right now, but anywhere you teach, if you speak English and read English, you can take this course. And just in the first couple of days, we had about 180,000 visitors to the course on Coursera. And we're just excited about helping teachers right now. And by the way, it's not just for teachers, it is for support staff, counselors, cafeteria workers, custodians, transportation staff, anybody who works with kids.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And so what's interesting about this to me is, you and your team have really invested a lot into making this happen. But why was this necessary to make it to a full-on 10-hour long course as opposed to some of the webinars and whatnot that you've done in the past?
Yeah, it's a good question because, we wanted something that was comprehensive but not overwhelming and not just like, a little, you know, taste, of emotion management. And so we thought really carefully about the course and, we looked at the research on how teachers are doing right now, what they're saying their needs are, and also, how to help teachers support students. And so the 10 hours really are broken down into my own self-awareness as a teacher, like how am I feeling, understanding the biology and psychology of stress and how that impacts my thinking and my own health. How do I manage that with effective strategies? And then we transfer over to how do I do this work in a culture responsive way, with my students. And so it takes everything from self and then applies it to students. And it needed to be 10 hours to do that well.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And so I'm sure everyone would learn a lot from this course, just from knowing you and your work. But as you mentioned, this was made, with educators mostly in mind and
Mhm.
anyone that, deals with kids. So why was this your targeted demographic as opposed to doing such a course for, other demographics that are dealing with stress and uncertainty during this time?
It's mostly because, you want to stay in your wheelhouse, where you have the most research and you have the most impact. And so, our full SEL model ruler, which is in almost 3,000 schools now across the United States and growing, is a model, that is a big commitment, meaning that schools have to like commit to doing the training and the implementation. And we realize that during stressful times like this, that's a big task, a tall order to commit to doing an entire approach. And so we wanted to create something that was asynchronous, that teachers could do on their own pace, and build something that was based in research. So we, over the last 7 months, have studied almost 20,000 teachers across the United States. And we know exactly how they're feeling. We know why they're having their feelings. We know the impact of these feelings. And so we just felt like, you know what? They're not doing well, justifiably, understandably. Let's make sure they get the help they need, because, we all know teachers are, they're pretty important people in our development.
Yeah, definitely. And teachers are also just dealing with so much right now with, the course pandemic. You're just speaking to some of the teachers that I know and how they're all adjusting and whatnot. So definitely appreciate you doing this course. And so after a teacher or an educator or, anyone that's support staff that's helping children, after they complete this course, what are some of the general takeaways that you're kind of hoping that they leave with?
Yeah, I think the first is greater self-compassion. That, it's really, these are anxious and stressful times, and don't deny those feelings, accept them. That's like, my book, Permission to Feel. It's really the elements of that core, aspects of giving yourself the permission to feel this way. And just because you feel this way, it doesn't mean that it has to take over, your entire life. You can be with your anxiety and not allow that anxiety to have power over you. And I think that's a very, very important message for people. I know that for me, it's very comforting to know, like, I'm not expected to be happy right now. It's okay to be in an uncomfortable place, and uncomfortable doesn't mean bad. And then I think importantly, teachers want to be helpful to their students. They want strategies to support them in helping students manage their feelings. And what happens oftentimes is that they go on this like helpful strategies, and like 5,000 websites come up, and there's like a downloadable PDF here and a 5 steps tip sheet there, and we're like, let's just get it, let's make it like a one-stop shopping, for our educators, um, so that they can both help themselves and really help their students. And the good news is that thus far, the thousands of people who've completed the course, in a 5-point scale, it's got about a 4.8, which is pretty good out of 5, and 95% say it's been helpful. And so that to me is a good sign.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's kind of what I wanted to ask you next, was just kind of more of the feedback that you've been getting. And because you said there's so many people that have already started the exam. So, but from what I'm hearing, it sounds like things are really taking off as you expect them to, as you wanted to at least.
They are. Of course, part of what I'm excited about with you guys is getting this out more and more. There's a lot of, information overload in our society right now. And so we're partnering with, the teachers unions, with different associations to just help us get the word out. And, my hope is that we'll get more and more educators across the next few months to just commit to this project.
Yeah, definitely. And over here at Flaws, we're gonna do everything that we can to, promote and share this far and wide. Not only because of our relationship, but just because we agree with what you're doing and how important it is, and how necessary it is for the demographic that you're currently targeting. So, we're gonna do our best over here. But just to wrap things up, Dr. Brackett, first and foremost, thank you for spending
Yeah,
the
of
time.
course.
But also, I remember you mentioning at the beginning of the call, as things are looking better for you in your own personal life and whatnot. But as we head into the new year, I want to kind of go further on that. What is giving you hope for a more flawless world? A better world than what we're currently, residing in.
I think the temperature right in our country has been extraordinarily hot, over the last couple of years and months, especially. And I think that, our nation we need to just settle a little bit, and kind of go back to our values, go back to, the vision of, of the country. And I think that's what I'm feeling right now, that people are kind of getting ready to do that. And and for me personally, um, I'm looking forward to hopefully being in person with you and with other people.
Hmm.
Um, I'm an I'm an introvert who is desperate for social connection. I never used to say that before because I like, I'm like, all right, enough, enough stimulation. Let me go back home. And now
Right.
I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. So I'm itching, to do a live presentation, to be in the hallway with a colleague, to have a conversation about something. And I'm missing that. And so I'm very hopeful that with the vaccine, um, and all else that's happening, that by summer we're going to start going back to, being more socially connected in person.
Yeah, I definitely co-sign that. As someone that's seen you live in person, in the action, I definitely think we can all benefit from getting back to that kind of stage of things. So I'm rooting for that along with you. That definitely looks more like a flawless road to me. But other than that, Dr. Brackett, thank you so much for spending the time
Yeah,
and
thank
informing
you.
us. For more on Dr. Brackett, of course, we will have his social media available for you, as well as his link to his online course, Managing Emotions in Times of Uncertainty and Stress, available for you all. But with that, thank you again, Dr. Brackett.
Thank you. Good to see you again.